Welcome back. I gotta work on this. Spent an evening out in the woods. Saw a nice buck that I couldn't shoot because it's doe only season right now. And on the way home, this thing started overheating. This is my wife's 2015 Jeep Grand Cherokee EcoDiesel. And I took it out there and started overheating. Symptoms are, it's obviously overheating, only at highway speeds. If I drive it 40, 45 mile an hour down the service road, I was able to limp it home. So it's not overheating at lower speeds. Now it is like 35 degrees outside right now. So it's nice and cold. It would probably overheat if this were the summer. No heat inside. So the heater stopped working. And there's a way to look at the oil temperature on the dash. It's a digital dash, and the oil temp goes higher and higher. So I did stop a few times on the way home. Just when the oil got to like 275, I was uncomfortable with that. So I turned it off for a few minutes and let it cool down. The oil cooler doesn't appear to be working. I believe there's an EGR cooler in there. I'm not entirely sure what the cooling system looks like for the oil. It might be driven by the radiator and the engine coolant. I think it probably is. I'm also getting no heat in the cabin. So I checked the fluid level was good. I topped it off just a little bit, but it doesn't seem to be bad. I haven't messed with it recently, so no reason to believe that it needs to be burped. I might try that. Well, I'm going to need to do it anyway, because the next step is I'm going to pull this thermostat off, throw it in a boiling pot of water on the stove, and just see if it reacts properly or not. I did stop by two parts stores, two different brands parts stores on the way home. They were kind of in the path, and neither of them had it appears to be a Mopar only part. So I'm gonna have to call some Jeep dealerships in the area tomorrow and see if anyone has one in stock if this thing turns out to be bad. So that's the first step. Okay, two 8mm, and this comes right off. It's sold as a full unit. This thermostat is built into this housing, so that's probably why the parts stores don't carry it. When the parts store looked it up, they showed this as a 208 degree thermostat, so 212 is boiling, so this is just before boiling. So I'm going to stick this in a pot of water and take it to boiling and see if this thermostat opens up. That'll tell me if it's good or not. Nothing poured out when I opened this, so maybe I do have air trapped in the system. So we're going to test this first, but if this tests good, then there is a bleeder valve on the top of here, so we'll go ahead and bleed it out, and maybe that's the problem. I don't know. The water isn't quite boiling yet, but I've been playing with this, and I don't know if you can tell, but the water just sits there in that pocket. So unlike other thermostats, they usually have like a little bypass pinhole in it. This thing does not have a pinhole, so if it's not operating properly, the water doesn't go anywhere. That's kind of interesting. I just noticed it. So we'll wait for this water to get to boiling and then dunk this in and see if it opens or not. Should be easy to tell because the water will either go through or it won't. It looks like it has opened up. Yep, it's properly pushing water through there. So not much. It's not opening by much. So So I don't know if that's bad or not. It is opening enough to let some water through. It's not sealed any longer, but I don't actually see the opening with my eye. Well, I guess I'm gonna have to order that thermostat anyway, or find it, because I pulled this bleeder cap off and I dropped it. And I don't know where it went at all. I've been looking for the last 15 minutes and I can't find it. So I'm just gonna order another one of those. There was like a seal in there or something, so it's not, I doubt I can find that, just the cap. So I'll have to order the whole $70 or $80 thermostat, unfortunately. So get that on order and we'll be back at it when I get the part. All right, part finally came in. Took a couple days longer to get to me. It was the absolute cheapest thermostat unit I could find on Amazon. Maybe I'll throw a link to it, but I don't really care about the quality of this. I only wanted the bleeder cap that was on the top. The prices on these things are ridiculous. The local dealer wanted like $270 for this thermostat assembly. Rock Auto, I think, had it for like $150 for the OEM, the Mopar version. This, I think, was like $17. So it's probably not as good as the OEM. Based on that price difference, I don't know. I'm not going to test it because the OEM is still in here and it worked in the pot. So the only thing I wanted was that cap that I dropped down into the nether regions of the engine, never to be seen again. I spent another 20 or 30 minutes looking for it while I was waiting for this part and still couldn't find it. So this is on here. It's not all the way tightened down, but I've got a couple threads on it, so it'll let some air out. Gonna start it up, let this thing heat up, and then screw that down once some liquid starts coming out that bleeder cap. All right, well, I don't think it was low on coolant when I stopped. Unfortunately, maybe I should do it more often. Coolant's not one of those things I check super often. I just don't expect it to leak. There was no obvious leaks. Nothing was spilling on the floor. And you just saw a clip of me starting it up and revving it. There's no white smoke coming from the tailpipes. So there might be a coolant leak somewhere. I don't know. Or it just may have been too long and kind of evaporated over time. Or maybe there was an air bubble. Not sure. But I started it up and brought it up to operating temp. And heater's kicking on now, which is a good sign. And it seems to be staying cool. So next step is to take it for a drive and make sure everything's fixed, and probably drive it for a week or so and make sure that everything stays fine. I'll check the coolant in a few days after some driving and make sure it's still doing well, and then we'll go from there. I guess if the next clip you see is the outro, that means it's corrected. Otherwise, we'll be jumping back into this thing. All right, success. The wifey's been driving this around for the last week or so, and everything seems to be operating normal. I've checked the coolant line level a couple of times, and coolant level is staying right where it's at, so it's not going anywhere. That's good news. The dash actually will display oil temp and on the digital dash, and so I've left it on that screen and told her to monitor it. Told her to make sure it stays right around 200 degrees and not really anything higher than that, and it's staying good. So everything is running well. So maybe it's a little lesson for me to check the coolant levels a little bit more. I don't know. I don't think it was low when I first looked at it, but it might have been. Or maybe there was an air bubble. Maybe it got low and then it got an air bubble. I don't know. But filling it back up and burping it well fixed the problem. So I'm glad we don't have a serious issue with that. The next video should be back on the cart. I've got some projects going on with it. So next video will be on that. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.